Hello, I'm Sudarshana Starshine Star. Thank you for being here with me. It's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, Easter Sunday, April 20th. I like to start all of my clips with the three opening prayers, which are in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they're short, and this is to bless, uplift, sanctify, and happify you, me, and this clip. They are the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. Om, Om, Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshvaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guruve Namaha. Om Suklam Bharataram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashante Om Bhurbhuva Suvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachotayat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excellent. Excuse my early morning vocals here. So I wanted to put this out yesterday. I started looking into it, and this is from April 17th. But I just was not able to put this out yesterday, so I'm putting it out now. I think it's pretty valuable. This is about, and if you're on my TikTok, which is Sudarshana_Starshine Star, you'll have seen some posts that I put out showing the obviously fake and staged photo of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who's been given the moniker the Maryland Man, supposedly just about holding hands in a restaurant with Senator Van Hollen from Maryland, who flew down to El Salvador supposedly and was turned away, tried to get it to the prison, which, you know, he's in CECOT, CECOT. I'm sure most of you have seen those photos from like the strictest and like the worst prison in the world that you don't want to be sent to, CECOT. But supposedly, you know, they let out men for dinner dates. Yeah, sure. Even though I did see something that they were trying to say, Abrego Garcia was moved to another prison. Sure, I believe that. Have you seen those guys in CECOT? Oof, you don't want to go there. Anyway, so this is all about, which I knew right, you know, when I saw that, I couldn't help it. I don't want anyone to go to CECOT. I wish they wouldn't do things to get them put in there, because I pray for all their souls. That's horrific. But I had to laugh at the photo, the stage photo of Abrego Garcia supposedly, like I said, looking like he was holding hands. It was like a mandate, you know, not a mandate, but a date between two men. Yeah, sure. And then they stepped it up when Bukele, president of El Salvador, did some real trolling. He stepped it up by, it was shown originally with coffee cups and bottled water, you know, in the restaurant between the two men having a intimate conversation. And then somehow it appeared with margarita glasses on the table. They were having margaritas with salt on the rim and 2 red cherries on the rim. That was just epic trolling. So this is from X22 report from April 17th, and it has a long title, but I'm only taking the first part of it. It's called D's as in Democrat. X22 likes to call Democrats D's. D's fake news took the bait, and that's what this is all about. Here we go. The deep state, the fake news, the puppet masters, they are going down the paths the patriots want them to go down. And the patriots, Trump, his administration, they don't want the Dems to stop. They don't want the fake news to stop. Why is that? Because why stop an enemy in the process of destroying itself? I do believe Trump and team baited the D's and the fake news into taking the story where they said, oh, it was a mistake. We shouldn't have deported this individual. And they latched onto it. And they used it over and over and over. And they tried to make the case because, once again, sometimes the people have to see those organizations, those individuals in government who truly hate the American people. And when you hear the D's and the fake news decide to side with an individual who's not a citizen of this country and actually go all out in defending that individual instead of the victims of this country, the people can see it very clearly. With a citizen of another country and actually go all out and defend instead of the victims of this country, it's very clear. And what the D's are feeling, what is the fake news feeling right now? Feeling pain. Why are they feeling pain? And in parentheses, every step of the way. Once again, they are wrong, and they push this very, very hard without looking into it more. Or if they did, they were hiding the true information, which is very interesting. And now the people of this country, the people of the world, understand that this was not, in quotes, a Maryland man, end quote. It wasn't a father who just wanted to live his life out here. He was a criminal. He was a gang member of MS-13, that's most dastardly gang. He was a terrorist, a drug pusher, actually dealt in human trafficking. So once again, the D's, the fake news, they took the bait. They ran with the story. They kept pushing at it, at pressers, and they kept going. You even have senators, a Democratic senator, go to El Salvador, and they try to convince the American people that this guy should come back to this country. We should kidnap him and bring him back here. Instead of the families in Maryland who are the victims, where the parents no longer have their children because of an illegal. Really think about it. This guy should come back to this country. We should kidnap him. Really look how this is playing out. Think about what the American people are saying, especially the Democrats. Because when you look at the polls and when you look at what the Democrats are thinking about immigration, the D's believe, 73% of them, according to the polls, believe that we should not be allowing these illegals in this country. And so what is the D party doing? They are destroying themselves. The leadership, he means. What is the fake news doing? They are destroying themselves every step of the way. And you take a step back and you start to look at what Trump is doing. He is now showing the entire country. During the elections, the D's were not going to be on Trump's side because, once again, they were against him. But since he got elected, and now that Trump is exposing the criminal syndicate and people seeing the truth, and every step of the way they are seeing lies, and they're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, I think my party, I think the quote news end quote is lying now. You are starting to see a lot of the D's shift and move towards MAGA. And Trump needs this in the end because what do you think the deep state's going to do? Most likely they'll probably try an all-out insurgency in the end. But at this phase that we're in, what is Trump doing? He's actually exposing the criminal syndicate, and he's exposing those individuals in the Democratic Party and in the fake news, how they lied to the people. And as we do this, and as the rogue judges continually fight back with everything, oh, you can't fire this person, oh, you can't stop the disbursement of money, oh, you can't deport people, what is Trump actually doing? He's actually exposing the rogue judges in the criminal syndicate. Why is he doing this at this point? Remember, during his first term, he set everything up for continuity of government. He caught them in the act of overthrowing the government. His second term, which, yes, was his second term, he allowed the resident, and X-22 is calling, who I call Jojo. X-22 doesn't go deeper than that, but the real Joseph Robinette Biden is not walking around. The real one was, let's say, he went to the spa, as we called it, in Cuba, was given a military tribunal, and he received judgment. And what's the judgment for capital crimes? Crimes against humanity and treason. What's the judgment for that? Think about that. That's what occurred with him in November of 2020. And in December of 2020, the clone, Yes, if you don't know about clones, you need to know. This is not a fringe topic. This is a huge topic, and people of this world need to wake up to it. His clone was then taken care of in December 2020. And so then the evils, that which I call the deep state, the Illuminati, the 13 satanic papal bloodline families, the Freemasons, did I already say the Jesuits? The Khazarian Mafia, the satanic branch has many different names, the Cabal. But they put in another actor. So there was never a Joseph Robinette Biden that was inaugurated in January 2021. And as I've stated so many times, and Derek Johnson, you should look him up. Derek Johnson is an incredible truth teller, and he has an amazing couple of books out. The Midnight Rider Rides Again on Amazon is such a bestseller. Everyone should have that. It's like true history. He wasn't the only one that exposed. Anyone who's properly in the military can tell you that that supposed inauguration film in January 2021 was not a presidential inauguration. It was a very faked film that the White Hats actually did. They put it together with many anomalies in it, like people disappearing and appearing right next to supposedly Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's coat switching on and off, changing things, people bopping in and out. They put the Lady Gaga image in the Mockingbird suit from the Hunger Games. They filmed all that in Culver City in California, in the studios there, and one of the true White House replicas that the fake news has been using for a long time, along with the other White House replica that's at Tyler Perry's former studios in Georgia. And there's another exact perfect White House replica in Germany. So those are 3 locations that have been used to pretend that things are really going on in the White House and different things when, as we saw, which is filmed, and many of us have seen it, in January 2021, when all the beings came out in their orange prison suits. They were all handcuffed, and they were all, marched out and taken care of, and the White House was closed down, and a lot of things happened after that, which, if you follow Nancy Drew, that's her pseudonym, across on all the socials, a person who's lived in Washington, in D.C. for many, many years, she's been one of the most amazing beings to get out there and film on the regularly, real life timing, showing everything, showing how the IRS building is closed, all the federal buildings are closed, the lights are off, there's tape all around, do not enter. She's shown these things over the years. So that's what was going on during this, what was really President Trump's stayed as CIC. It was really a second term, but as part of the waking up the people, which was a really rough process. But we only got a small percentage of the roughness, believe it or not, even with the plan, second part of that word, DEMIC. It all could have gone much, much more horribly wrong as was planned, but we had to get a taste of it to know what the cabal had really planned and had in store for us, which was very dastardly and deadly to the nth degree. He stayed CIC, Commander-in-Chief, and we went under a COG, a continuity of government, which you need to look up the law of war. You can go on the official.gov sites and read it all. It's all there, which states what's happened when a country is invaded and when it recognizes that it's invaded. So we were taken over from within. It was the enemy from within. So our military was put in charge in a COG, what happens in a continuity of government, how they take charge. And that's when you saw President Trump, how he had federalized, over 1 million of the National Guard. And you saw that, like, prior to what was supposed to be the January 2021 inauguration of JoJo, you saw how 35,000 of the National Guard plus other troops were there present at the Capitol, and they put up the fencing and all the that wiring, all that barbed wire, that concertina wire. But if you look at that, what they're putting up, all the it was all facing inward. It was also supposed to keep people in that restricted DC capital area, not about people climbing over the fence and getting in there. It was about not letting the people climb out and get out because they had captured them. And there's much evidence to this, but you're going to have to look into that for yourself like I've done. Anyway, so this is really President Trump's third term. But in the second term, he had to allow that corrupt, satanic administration, the underlings of the cabal that were posing and, were puppeting Jojo and Kamala, etc., who was also taken care of. They had to allow some of their evil and stupidity to come through. And so when people say, no, if he was really in charge, why would he let anything harm the American people? We were about to get harmed all the way, if you know what I mean, all the way to extinction. And that wasn't just planned for America. So we needed a tough wake-up call. And luckily, we only got a small portion of it. So let me go back to the reading. So let's see. So he caught them in the act of overthrowing the government. His second term, which is his second term, he allowed the resident to be in the White House. He allowed the deep state players to do what they do best, destroy themselves. He needed the people to wake up so he could actually have the people on his side to override their cheating system. And those people that were woken up, and X22 does not mean woke. I wish he didn't say woken up, but not woke. Those people that were thinking logically, that carried over into his third term. His third term is to show the people what the criminal syndicate is, expose how their operation worked, and actually remove all these people that might do us harm, those people that might stop the arrests, that might stop the prosecutions. He's doing this on purpose. So when the people are out there saying, oh, he should make arrests now, no one's saying he shouldn't. And by the way, I'm going off the reading here, but so much has been taken care of. There are, as I stated repeatedly, if you go into my YouTube channel, it's The Dazzling of the Light, at Sudarshan, a Starshine Star. You can see my well over 100 clips there. You can look at the Controller series or the Real series, where I stated and gone into detail about what's already occurred. There are 200,000 white hat actors that have been wearing hyperskin face masks with voice box technology, that have been subbing in for so many of these people that have already been taken care of. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, but it's true. Okay, so no one's saying he shouldn't. Everything has to be done in due time. Think about what Trump just exposed. He exposed the rogue judges, everything that Trump and this administration is trying to do. What are the rogue judges trying to do? They're trying to stop him every step of the way. They're keeping him tied up in court. Let me ask you a simple question. Let's see. We arrested everyone right now. How do you think that's going to play out with the rogue judges? Think about it, and think about all the people in the different agencies they haven't cleaned out yet. How do you think those arrests are going to go? Do you think the rogue judges would then change course all of a sudden? Then stop the prosecutions or tie up the DOJ in court? Push for maybe trial or introduce whatever evidence or whatever thing they're going to do? I mean, it's called lawfare. Do you think we'll be able to proceed with no problem? Bringing everyone to trial? Think about court-martials. Think about the military. Do we have those individuals who will not follow the rule of law that are completely against President Trump? Think about the plan and what Trump needs to do. Remember, this is an entrenched criminal syndicate. And now you're seeing what Trump and team will be dealing with. He had Doge. Elon is shutting down the funding. I do believe this is why he's removing the security clearances. I do believe this is why he's going after certain universities. I do believe this is why he's removing as many criminals, illegals in this country as possible, because they could do us harm. And he's going to be going after the Federal Reserve and shutting off all funding to the deep state players, which is going to leave them high and dry. PRC already went after the Federal Reserve, but optics have to play out. That's me talking. Okay, back to the reading. He has to leave them high and dry with nothing. So don't you want to make your enemy as weak as possible? Yes, don't you want to make your enemy as weak as possible? Don't you want to remove their ability to strike back if you arrest them and try them? Yes, you do. Plus, at the same time, Trump is exposing to the people of this country, and especially the Ds. Ds are starting to realize and to learn, starting to wake up. Let's see the poll numbers right now. Even though the fake news is trying to convince everyone that people are leaving MAGA, no, it's the opposite. And think about when Trump decides to remove the income taxes. Is he going to have the country united and people going to start to realize who the true enemy of this country is? I do believe so. Let's talk about what Kristi Noem is doing right now. She announced that millions more in grants are going to be cut from Harvard, about $2.7 million. And I'm doing as an aside, I think you already know that $2.3 billion was frozen at Harvard already by President Trump. And he's also doing something that it's still ongoing right now, but reviewing to see if he can strip them of tax-exempt status, which needs to happen. And it looks like Trump and his team, they're looking to, oh, here we go, and they're looking to evoke Harvard's nonprofit status. So this is going to be very interesting as we move forward. And let's see who folds first, because I don't think it's going to be the Trump team. I think it's going to be Harvard in the end. But when we start to look at what these rogue judges have been doing and the Ds have been doing with the deportation of these illegals, you can see that taking the side of illegals, criminals, drug traffickers, human trafficking, child traffickers, you name it, taking their side, it's not really working out well for them. And what's very interesting is that Senator Chris Van Hollen, he decided, I'm going to travel down to El Salvador because there's a citizen of El Salvador that I'd really like to support and show that I'm backing him. Even though he's not a citizen, he went all the way down, and the vice president of El Salvador said, I can't help you. He's a Salvadorian citizen, and he's not a citizen of the United States, and there's nothing I can do. I can't bring you to the prison. So basically, just shut him down. But however, they put out those lovely, as I said, those lovely fake pictures of the mandate holding hands practically and all that good stuff. It's pretty funny things. So let's see. And since that time we have learned, which we already knew from the very beginning, but as I do believe that Trump did, he aided the Ds as he baited fake news into taking this story. He baited them, and it exposed their entire agenda to basically protect illegals, protect the criminals. But I think about how all of this started. Will Chamberlain put this out and said, let's tell another story about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the one that has to do with his lawyer, Simon Moshenberg, and how a Fourth Circuit judge and effectively the entire media got duped into underplaying the evidence that Abrego Garcia was in MS-13. Today, AG Pam Bondi released the underlying gang field interview sheet related to Garcia's detainment in 2019, along with other documents. In the GFIS, the police officers attested that when Garcia was arrested, he was hanging out with multiple confirmed MS-13 members, that he was wearing apparel associated with MS-13, and that a confidential source independently identified Garcia and his members up in MS-13, along with his rank and moniker in the organization. Interestingly, when Judge Thacker wrote her concurring opinion on the Fourth Circuit decision that ruled for Garcia, she was extremely dismissive of the evidence he was in MS-13. She started it, quote, was thin to say the least, end quote, and made no mention of the fact that Garcia was detained while hanging out with two other members of MS-13. Why was that omitted? Well, let's take a look at her footnotes. Her first footnote points to SA 146 and 5. That's the underlying court opinion. The district court opinion by Judge Zenas also characterized the MS-13 evidence against Garcia as weak, nothing more than his Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie. A vague, uncorroborated allegation that he was in MS-13. Again, no mention of the fact that he was arrested with 2 MS-13 gang members. Judge Zenas admitted ESEF-31, which must have been a mistake because she was citing the very document she was writing. Totally circular, likely an error by clerk, but it means that we don't know exactly where Judge Zenas got this. Judge Thacker's second footnote, added to the addendum to the motion for stay at pages 10 and 11. This is a complaint written by Mr. Moschenberg. And now things become clear. The reason that both Judge Zenas and Judge Thacker underplayed the MS-13 evidence is because Mr. Moschenberg did so in his complaint. He's the only lawyer on the brief. No one else responsible. The really interesting thing here is that based on what Moschenberg put in the complaint, it's pretty clear he had the access to the underlying GFIS report. He didn't put that in the record, instead chose to underplay the cop's statement. As a result, both Judge Zenas and the district court, Judge Thacker on the Fourth Circuit Court, got blindsided, and they themselves underplayed the evidence. Judges really don't like that. They like to be able to rely on the lawyers litigating in front of them to cut square corners. That didn't happen here. The lesson for them, as well as the media, is we can't just take a lawyer's word as gospel. Complaints are not evidence, and it's really dumb to underplay evidence that will eventually be revealed to the public. And that reminds me, actually, of the FISA judges, because there was a lot of evidence that was left out and was not given to the FISA judges. Some right there. So right there, that's how it began. But Trump and the Patriots, they knew that Garcia was part of MS-13 gang. Trump and the Patriots, they knew that he pushed drugs, that he human trafficked, that he was a terrorist. They knew all of this. But they let the fake news, the D's, go off on this. Now the fake news, they could have done some research. They could have discovered all of this information, but they decided not to. And Trump knew this. He knew exactly what they were going to do. And when Garcia was arrested, he was found with rolls of cash and drugs. He was arrested, and 2 other members of MS-13, 2 judges found that he was a member of MS-13. When arrested, he was wearing what is effectively an MS-13 uniform. So did Trump bait them into this? I do believe so. And at the same time, they were making a big deal over this individual. Trump had switched focus onto the victims. Trump then switched focus onto the victims and said, these people are the victims of these people that are here illegally. And the fake news, we see CBS, NBC, etc., they decided to give the, quote, Maryland man, end quote, the wrongly departed coverage of about 64 minutes. They gave Rachel Morin's killer and trial coverage 0 news. And they never put it on the victims. So think about that for a second. Trump even had Rachel Morin's mother meet him, and she actually put out a message saying, quote, none of these individuals actually came to her. They decided to go with the illegal, end quote. So the people now can see this very, very clearly. And it's not just one victim in Maryland. There are multiple victims in Maryland. Annie No put this out. In case you didn't know, there have been several unalivings of American citizens by illegal foreign nationals, and the Democratic Sanctuary State becomes a hub for violent migrant activity. Rachel Morin, the mother of 5, has been spotlighted by the White House, and she was RAPED and unalived in August of 2023 in Harford County, Maryland, by an El Salvadorian illegal migrant who had been deported 3 times. There was also Kyla Hamilton, the autistic woman who was RAPED, tied up and strangled to unalivement by an El Salvadorian 17-year-old MS-13 member in July 2022, also in Harford County. So once again, there are other individuals in Maryland that were unalived. And did you see Senator Van Hollen? Did you see him go and give incredible speeches about those that were unalived in Maryland? Did you see the fake news focused on the victims? No, they weren't. This is how you know the fake news and the D's hate Americans, and they're all for the illegals. And also, this Garcia, he has been beating his wife. His wife came out and said, Quote, no, he was an upstanding citizen, end quote. Why? Because she wanted the money from GoFundMe. Annie No put this out and said, quote, wife of deported suspect gang Terrorist, Kilmar Garcia, either lied to the court when she petitioned for domestic violence protection order against him, or she's lying now on the GoFundMe claiming he's an excellent husband, as over $662,000 has poured in. Do you think she wants the money? Absolutely. So Jennifer Vasquez allegations of serious domestic violence by Garcia were made more than once in addition to the petitioning the court successfully in 2021. A protective order against him. Vasquez also filed and received one in 2020. In the 2021 emergency order against Garcia, the court wrote it had reasonable grounds to believe he grabbed, punched, scratched, and ripped off Vasquez's clothing in attacks on May 1st and May 4th in 2021. Vasquez was alleged injured with bruises. So the court order said, shall not abuse, shall not contact, shall not enter the residence, shall stay away from the home of another family member respondent, shall vacate the home custody, surrender firearms. And then we come to find out something else about the individual. Robbie Starbuck put this out. Wow. The Tennessee Star just broke a huge story. You know the illegal immigrant that Democrats are trying to free from an El Salvador prison? In 2022, he was stopped driving without a license with Tennessee highway patrolmen suspected him of trafficking the 7 people inside. The Tennessee Highway Patrol then learned he was on a terrorist watch list. So they called Biden's FBI, but Biden's FBI told the THP to release him. Garcia was then released due to the Biden FBI order, and the THP concerns about the trafficking were ignored by the government. This is on top of court plus Maryland police findings that believe he was MS-13, and his wife reporting he beat her when filing for a protective order. This is who the Democrats want in our country. This is who they are defending. So it's a fact that he's in an MS-13 gang. It's a fact that he was human trafficking. It's a fact that he is a terrorist. And then what else we've come to find out from Kanakoa the Great put this out. He was arrested with other known MS-13 gang members carrying marijuana and cash. A credible source confirmed he is an active member of the MS-13 gang with the rank Chico and the nickname Chile. In 2021, his wife filed the restraining order. So it's confirmed now. And look into his rap sheet right now. Absolutely unbelievable. So basically the fake news and the D's are using Garcia as the, quote, poster boy, end quote. Hey, how's that working out for them? Again, in the end, it's the D Party, the fake news. They're going to be known as the haters of the American people. I do believe Trump and the Patriots set them up. Think about all the judges ordering Trump to bring back an illegal alien. Just like if the mayors or the governors try to stop the deportation of these illegals. Broke the law. Nobody is above the law. This is what Trump needs to show the people. He let you know the rogue judges, the court systems. And then real Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump, I'm ending with this, said, can you believe it? A judge ruled against us on 530,000 illegal migrants that Joe Biden flew over the border in his program to transport illegals into the country by airplane, saying that they can't be looked at as a group, but that each case has to be tried individually based on the court system. That would take approximately 100 years. What is going on with our courts? They are totally out of control. They seem to hate, quote, Trump, end quote, so much that anything goes. We are trying to bring our country back from the destruction caused by the Democrats and crooked Joe Biden. I won on a policy of common sense. And what common sense do we have when we have 530,000 trials? This radicalized judge is saying that Sleepy Joe Biden can fly more than 500,000 illegals into America in one day, but we have to hold many years of long and tedious trials to fly each and every one of them back home. Where is the justice here? Exactly. Well said, President Trump. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to end like I end all of my clips with a closing prayer in Sanskrit and Telugu. What I'm saying is, God bless all beings in all worlds, because I do pray for every single soul that has ever been created or will be created. No matter the wrong turns or errors that any soul has made, I pray for all of them, for all of the redemption, and that they will be brought back into the light and be reunited with their true source, their true divinity. That's what I pray for all souls. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. God bless you and yours. Much love and big hugs to you and yours. I'll see you when I see you. Happy, happy Easter. And bye-bye for now.